Hello everyone, this is James, otherwise known as TV Dinner from the Watch Freaks Forum, and this is the video review of the Prometheus Automatic GT Chronograph watch. This video review is part of the written and pictorial review done by Don, aka Tattoo Chef, on Saturday, April 9th, 2011 on the Watch Freaks Forum. Let's get started. First, the watch box. The GT Chrono comes in a leather box. Soft leather feel. It's got the company logo printed right on the front, which is a nice little touch. Inside it comes with a manual and warranty card and a small pillow that the watch was on. The watch also was wrapped in plastic to protect it upon delivery. The box is a nice box. As with most of these boxes, they usually end up in a closet somewhere, so instead of dwelling on this, let's go on to the watch. This is the Prometheus GT Chronograph watch. It's a really nice looking watch which has a lot of neat features that we're going to go over. Some of the basic specs of this watch: it's 44mm width, excluding the crowns. It's 22mm lug width. The entire case is made out of 316L stainless steel and has a bead blasted hard finish, which is really nice looking in person. It has sapphire crystal on both the front and the exhibition case back, which is a nice touch. And of course the movement is the highly desirable ETA 7750 automatic chronograph movement. It's a really nice movement that we'll get to in a little while. It's really decorated with some beautiful blue screws, and we'll talk about that a little more. The watch comes on a thick black genuine leather strap, which has white stitching, a nice buckle here, and we'll get to all of this shortly. This watch comes with a 2-year warranty, manufacturer's warranty, so it's good to know that you have the 2 years if anything was to go wrong. So let's take a look at this watch, and the first thing you notice is the 3 subdials, the exposed date wheel, and of course this really interesting second hand. The second hand, I'm going to try to come in here, is actually shaped like a steering wheel. And the neat thing about that is that it looks like the steering wheel is spinning. It's really a nice touch, and it adds to the overall racing feel of this watch. The case design is also unique in the fact that the case back is 37mm and the top of the case is 44mm. This gives this watch a really unique curvature. You can see it right there, which makes this watch feel a lot larger on your wrist than you would think. To give you a quick view of that, you can see how the watch sits very tall, and again looks much larger on your wrist because of the shape. It's kind of like the Oris TT1 divers, which have a unique donut shape. This shape really makes this watch stand out. I love the smooth lines, very clean, very smooth on both sides. A lot of that has to do with the bead blasting finish. And on this side here, the pushers and the crown, you can notice the logo on the crown. Again, very clean, very uniform. One thing about the lugs that I found interesting is where the pin and hole placement is. You notice how high it is. On a lot of watches, you have a much lower pin placement. This is a really unique and feature that I like, so if you were to add another strap or even a bracelet, it's going to be very, very close to the case. It's a nice touch. You don't have that big gap that you sometimes see between the end of the strap and the case. Again, that's a nice look. I'll pull away so you can see how clean that is. The chronograph works just like a normal chronograph. Press the top to start. Very smooth movement, as you can see. And press to stop and reset. Everything lines up perfectly at 12, which is a nice, again, to see the quality. One thing you'll also notice is there's no bezel. And not having the bezel also helps this watch play a lot larger. You have a very open crystal on top, and all you see is just this large dial and all the features inside. As far as changing this watch, normal screw crown. Another nice feature that this watch has a screw crown because it's not really a diving watch. So to have the screw crown is just a nice additional feature. Since this is a 7750, I'm going to pull this out and set this to 6 o'clock. Here you guys can see this changing. Watch how it changes. It's a really neat feature to see that. The day and the date are squared in these boxes, so when it moves you can really see the movement happening. I'm going to bring this to 6 o'clock so I can change the day and date so you can see it. As with most 77 chronographs, you don't want to change the day or date between 9 and 3. Putting this back into the second position, you can see, you can hear how cleanly this chain clicks. It's a really nice look there. With the, I normally don't like the exposed date windows, but this one really works because it's not just 3 numbers. You're really seeing that wheel in motion and how it works. And it's a really nice look. Bring this back out. We'll move this forward to 10:10 for the rest of this review. And push it back in and screw it in. One of my favorite features of this watch is the case back. This is really where they've gone, I think, overboard. I'm going to try to get out of the glare here. It's a decorated rotor with the Prometheus name on it, and then this movement is, it almost looks like a carbon fiber stamped. Everywhere on this movement is beautiful stamped, and there's blue screws on the inside, and the blue screws really set off the movement in a way that I haven't seen on many other watches. It's just really a pretty movement. The other thing I like is the back of this watch is just so open. You've got such a large exhibition back, really no wasted space of writing on the case back or anything. It's just all open, wide open, and it's a really nice look. Moving on to the strap. The strap that comes with this, like I said, it originally comes kind of a suede feel. It's not too hard, not too soft. Very easy to soften up by just moving. It's got a nice white stitching all the way around in your classic style. Same thing on this side. And then the buckle is not a Spartan buckle. What I liked is it's actually a stamped buckle. I'll try to get that. You can see the PWC right there for Prometheus Watch Company. It's a nice little added touch. Looking back again to the side of this watch, you can see how it continues upward in size from bottom to top, all the way around the case. I do like the red, the use of red. If you notice in the middle, it's a carbon fiber middle piece that goes around the subdials with the carbon fiber in the middle. And then you've got, of course, the subdials in the red here. The loom is interesting. The loom is really only on the hour and the minute hand. One thing I wish they would have done was have more loom on either the hour markers or just some additional loom. To give you an idea of what the loom looks like, I'll turn this off so you can see. And you can get an idea there of where it's going to be. Your loom is going to be only on your hour and your minute hand. It's a bright loom. It's got pretty good last. You've got a little bit of color around the subdials, but overall it would have been nice to have some loom in the outside number markers. Sorry about that. Overall, I'd say this watch is definitely a lot of value for the money. You're getting, of course, the desired 7750 movement. You're getting great size. You're getting absolute unique styling in both the case back, lug placement. And one of the things I want to show is how it wears against some other watches of similar sizes. So I've got a couple watches here as some examples. First we have Swiss Army 500 meter dive watch. This watch, very popular watch, good styling, good size. It's listed at 43 millimeters without the crown. And you can see how the Prometheus really shows well next to it. Again, you've got a large open window here and not have the bezel. Size-wise, you can see the height of the Prometheus comparatively. Moving on to another watch, compare the Prometheus to, would be the Hamilton X-Wind. Now the X-Wind's a unique watch. It's listed at 44 millimeters, similar to this one, but it plays much larger because you have pushers on both sides. So this watch here looks about the same size, but again, the pushers on both sides of the X-Wind make it feel a little bit larger. Size-wise though, height, again, the Prometheus has some tremendous size, and the X-Wind is a pretty tall watch, but it's a nice size comparison. Moving on to another comparison, we've got the Deep Blue. Deep Blue is definitely a larger watch, listed at 46 millimeters compared to the 44. But if you look at this comparison, they really do play very similar. Again, a lot having to do with the bezel on the Deep Blue and not having the bezel on the Prometheus. Size-wise again, comparing the two. You can see the height there, and the height is pretty similar on this one. Uniform height across, where this one has that slope. Two more comparisons, just so you can really get a good view of how this watch compares. Next up would be the new Steinhardt Automatic Ocean 44. It's a very neat watch with a sapphire bezel, but as you can see, these watches are both listed at the same size. Without question, the Prometheus feels and looks just as large or larger. So this watch is listed at 44 on the right, the Steinhardt, and the Prometheus is listed at 44 as well. Looking at the size, the Prometheus is considerably taller than the Steinhardt. And one last comparison would be to the Oris TT Diver. Now the Oris TT1 Diver is a 47 millimeter watch. It's got a very unique case shape in the donut shape, and the reason why I'm showing this one is so you can really see how these unique case shapes make these watches just stand out. So the Oris is a tall watch which has a donut shaped case, where the Prometheus is a very tall watch and it has the sloping case, sloping upward and larger. You can see side by side the comparison of these two. And you can also see how well the Prometheus shows as far as size. Finally, I would say that the Prometheus GT Chronograph is a really nice watch, and it's original in a sea of watches that all seem to look a little bit alike. It seems that every watch we see nowadays has a similar case style, a similar bracelet, a similar dial design or dial layout, where this watch really is unique. I believe the company has gone overboard, really, doing the design of the watch, doing the open part here. The splash of red in the different areas really draws your eye to those features, and I think it was done intelligently to make this watch have a nice presence on your wrist. Again, looking at the wrist shot again, you can see how this watch wears. And it's really a nice looking watch. One final close-up here of the front. See that second hand turning. End of the case back with that beautiful exposed movement. Side of the case. Lugs in the front. Lugs in the back. Crown side. Thank you again. This is the Prometheus Automatic GT Chrono, and I'm James, aka TV Dinner, from the Watch Freaks Forum. Thank you.